Okay, tell me.
And then
Are we live?
board on this computer. Okay, this will be my blanket, my fake blanket.
Are you live?
Yeah. Ooh, I can see our video loading.
Okay,
Tell me.
Are we live?
That's fun. I need to turn the volume off because we're just gonna hear ourselves.
Hello, Dulcie. Are we actually live?
Oh, hi, Tatiana. Nice meeting you here.
Nice meeting you here, and hi everybody on our second live ever. So this is Astrology Victoria
with Dulcie and
Tatiana under the astro blanket. As usual. We haven't been here in a while, but we're back full on to give you lots of awesome things. So Dulcie, what are we talking about today?
Yeah, today we're talking about the total lunar eclipse in Sagittarius. So that will be happening on May 26th. And it's also a supermoon, meaning that the moon is closer to the earth than usual. So it'll be a bigger moon, bigger full moon than usual. And it will be totally eclipsed for a period of time until it is no longer eclipsed.
And it is happening at 5 degrees of Sagittarius. So if you have like anything at 5 degrees of the mutable signs, which are Dulcie.
So Gemini and Virgo, then Sagittarius and Pisces.
Pisces, yeah, Virgo, Pisces, Gemini, Sagittarius, the cardinal, the mutable cross. If you have anything at 5 degrees of that, pay close attention to this eclipse because it might be moving big things for you in your life if you know your chart. And if you don't know your chart, you can go to astro.com, look it up, locate 5 degrees of any of that. And see how that's going to play out for you. And also comment if you are one of these people or anybody, but we want to know the stories. Okay, so let's discuss what's an eclipse. What is it all about? What does eclipse represent, Dulcie?
So an eclipse, it can be different depending on what type of astrology you're focusing on, but in general, it signifies a shift in one's life trajectory, a shift in karmic patterns, and maybe revelations of things that have been hidden. So things that you weren't necessarily aware of before, but you are now. Just as the light is hidden, is covered during an eclipse, it is then what's the word?
Revealed.
Revealed.
Veiled. Revealed. Reveal the veil.
It is new again. So yeah, there are significant changes. In ancient astrology and Hellenistic Vedic astrology, they see the north node as the head of a dragon and the south node as the tail of a dragon. And this dragon has been severed in half. And the head of the dragon is constantly hungering for more. I think it was originally it had wanted what did it want? And then it was severed. It was severed because it wanted something. It wanted eternal life, or it was greedy. I don't know the full story. But after being severed, that head is constantly wanting more. So it is never satiated. It doesn't have the stomach to get full. So it's wanting more. It's ever increasing. So planets that hit that north node are kind of affected by that head, that desire for more. So it can lead to more in your life, like more money, more material objects, more friendship. It can lead to more things like that, but you have to just be careful that you're not doing it for the sake of greed, or you're not overdoing it. And then the south node is the tail of the dragon, so it's kind of the the letting go of of that which has been consumed. So this lunar eclipse is next to the north or the south node, and so that has a feeling of letting things go.
Mm-hmm.
So and also during eclipses, it's generally a good idea to just kind of let go of the reins a little bit. If you're kind of holding on to power and your own desire for what you want to be the outcome, it might not work out in your favor, or you might get bitten in the butt because of it. So
By the head of the
yeah,
dragon.
want to go
Well,
with the flow a little bit.
yeah, we'll talk a lot about why it's important to go with the flow and understanding when we pull up the chart what is really at play here. And what Dulcie, you mentioned about the nodes, like in Vedic astrology, like in the evolutionary perspective, the nodes have been a little bit revisited in a different way, because it's definitely I would simplify it as the south node, been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and the north node is like, what's my next evolutionary desire to know, because we keep moving forward. If we always are in the same thing, well, we've been there, done that, and got the t-shirt. That doesn't mean that we completely need to release it and never go that. It's we have that energy is integrated in us, and our souls want to keep moving forward towards something. That's the north node points towards that something, and and this is why when we understand these eclipses, these points get activated as almost like those portals. It's like a portal that opens and says, ta-da, new door. Are you ready to jump through it? And then you just kind of are projected into it and start, like you said, something gets revealed and you're like, oh, wow. And that keeps pushing you forward in your path. So we're going to have, of course, in this particular eclipse, we're having the moon, like you said, conjunct the south node. So it's like, this is an eclipse that wants to kind of been there, not that of the Sagittarian themes, and we're going to cover those in a little bit. So Dulcie, would you like to pull up the chart so we can see what we're talking about and see what those themes are? Chart.
There we
So
go.
we can start. So let's point. So Dulcie, what is Sagittarius? What are the themes of Sagittarius? Let's point towards where Sagittarius is.
Okay, so let's find Sag. So here we have our south node and moon in Sagittarius, and they are opposing. So making it a full moon, but also an eclipse, is the fact that the moon and the sun are opposite in the zodiac and next to the nodes. Next to the nodes makes it the eclipse.
Exactly. So let's repeat that for people who are new.
Yeah. So the sun and the moon opposing makes it a full moon.
Full moon. Yeah.
Makes it bright. And then the fact
what makes it an eclipse?
To the north and the south node is what makes it an eclipse. So
exactly.
They have the earth perfectly centered between them. So as they are opposite from each other, that earth's shadow is now completely blocking the view of the moon for us.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Dulcie.
Yeah. Let's talk about Sag.
Sagittarius. Yes. What are the main themes? So if we have been there, done that, got the t-shirt of Sagittarius, and we're moving towards Gemini. So what are the Sagittarian themes that we're kind of needing to kind of revamp?
Yeah, some of the big ones. So belief systems, any kind of belief systems that could be religion, that can be the law, that can be philosophical belief systems, that could be,
Personal, yeah.
yeah, and related to law, also the natural law, how just how things work in general, what are the consequences for actions, and what
Mm-hmm.
we believe might be what should be the consequences for these actions as well.
Mm-hmm.
Freedom, themes of freedom, seeking of experience and knowledge, higher knowledge.
Traveling far away to
Yeah, we're
explore
letting go of travel.
further cultures. Yeah, I think that's like very prominent right now,
Yeah,
that we're not being able to do that.
yeah. Travel,
Yeah,
truth, and independence. I would say those are the
awesome.
big ones.
And if you're not very familiar with the Sagittarius energy and you want to know really more, we have a video specifically very detailed on the Sagittarius archetype. So you can go back and watch that, um, and get yourself more impregnated about what it means. Yeah, so all those themes, and those Sagittarian themes, like, because we know Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter, and we'll get into that. Jupiter, that has just entered Pisces, has a big role to play in this revamping or releasing of old, outdated, outmoded belief systems. So I just wanted to add a little note on what a belief system is, because we talk about belief system, but what is a belief system? When I believe something, it's a construct I have made with my thoughts that has crystallized a paradigm. And then it's like, imagine anybody that has that same construct, that same paradigm goes like, oh, I have the same belief. And this creates a network. Imagine like a subscription to something, right? So everybody that's subscribed to that is subscribed, and that let's say that network pattern energy, whatever you want to call it, gets crystallized. And so when you believe something, you're literally tapped into this subscription. And Sagittarius has such strong beliefs, such strong truths. This is the truth for me because I have been hooked into this crystallized idea. This is why religions are so crystallized. If there is somebody wrote a religious text 2000 years ago, right? Then that gets passed on and everybody hooks into that subscription, and that's it. And that's the truth because that's what it's said, and that's it. There's no questioning. And this is when we're going to go into why this eclipse is so important with that big Gemini opposition stellium, because Sagittarius does not really question. Sagittarius knows, believes, and believing is really not questioning. Believing is believing. If I tell you this and you believe it, that's it. You believe it. And then you make it yours and you live your life by it. And then the reality you create around it is created by the thoughts you put out. That's what I believe. And that's it. And then anybody that believes the same, well, it's kind of in tune with you. And whoever does not believe the same, you point it out as like, you are not right. I am right. So what has happened all throughout the age of Pisces is this crusadum, these different religions that are very established, where I'm right and you're wrong and you're going to hell and you're going to my hell, because there's this very strong crystallized beliefs. So what this eclipse is almost asking us to do is say, okay, time's up for that. That was really great. Woohoo, got that t-shirt. Now, how about as Jupiter enters Pisces, it wants to dissolve. And the mutable energy from Gemini, Sagittarius, and Pisces is like adapt to these changes. And it wants to dissolve those beliefs, like put them in the dissolution thing and go, it's time for a new spiritual understanding. So would you like to add to that and then talk about Gemini, Dulcie?
Oh, I don't think I have anything to add to that specifically. Just the fact that Jupiter Jupiter expands whatever it touches. So all of these themes that we're discussing, they're going to be amplified in your life because of this Jupiter factor, and because Jupiter is ruling this full moon, that also adds to Jupiter's presence and effect. And it has just left Aquarius and is now in Pisces
for a little while, at least.
Yeah, but for this eclipse, it is in Pisces,
absolutely.
and so it is part of that mark of the eclipse. So that can be good. Jupiter is comfortable in Pisces. It's able to expand and do what it wants in Pisces. So it might have that kind of beneficial touch to any of these themes as well.
Well, the idea is that because we're being pushed forward into new spiritual understandings, whatever that means. I'm going to give a little analogy that I gave Dulcie earlier on about a cruise ship. Imagine you're in a big boat. A cruise ship is giant, and that thing is going somewhere, and you are in the pool that's inside the cruise ship, and you have your own little floaty, and you're like so busy trying to get somewhere in your floaty. You're trying to push the whole cruise from your floaty. You know what? When things are in Pisces, in mutable energy, you're literally asked to not push that floaty. It's not pushing the cruise ship anywhere. Let the cruise ship cruise. You're being taken. You don't have to carry the burden of trying to get everyone on board to get onto your pool with their little floaties and follow you to the end of the pool. Because that's it. That's what we're releasing. It's like, how about you just get on your floaty, do this, and allow the cruise ship to take you. We're going as a humanity. We're going all there. So releasing, like I would say the word is surrender. Surrender to whatever is happening in your life that is asking or bringing those changes, those insights. It might feel confusing. It might feel that something expands for you, but it might feel so confusing at times, like what's going on. You might have literally a spiritual awakening where you were maybe seeing things a certain way, and suddenly, poof, you start seeing things completely different. Pisces also wants us to understand that everything really is one. If you haven't seen our Pisces video, it's also there in our channel. And it expands everything. So it could expand confusion. It could expand the sense of identity being lost. Like, I don't get it. It could expand anything in the area of your chart where this eclipse is happening, or where you have Pisces and exactly that 1 to 5 degrees of Pisces. If you're Pisces rising, Pisces sun, Pisces anything, you're going to definitely be having some kind of, of spiritual awakening, understanding, or expansion. This in general is a positive experience. However, caution. Jupiter, as much as it's the benefic and it brings all the growth and expansion and movement forward, it could also become dogmatic, right? So it's not about necessarily, if you're leaving behind certain dogmas, it's not to adopt new dogmas in the sense of like, well, now I know this truth and I'm going to push it on to others. And this is where the Gemini stellium comes into play, and why it's so important, because we do have a square from that Jupiter to the sun as well, right? There's going to be this push and pull between the new understandings and also the need to release the ego or too much thought or these new understandings. It's almost just for you to start integrating. So Dulcie, would you like to talk a little bit about this whole Gemini stellium that we can see here and why that's important and what Gemini represents,
Gemini represents versatility, so the ability to kind of multitask and do multiple things at once or engage in a variety of different tasks. The using of the mind, acquiring knowledge or basic knowledge, the ability to discriminate between things. So very different from Pisces and Neptune that is playing a role. Pisces and Neptune are all about recognizing everything as one, everything is the same, whereas Mercury and Gemini are all about finding the differences between everything.
Curiosity. Yeah, too. Curiosity and newness. And, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. Yeah. So curiosity, communication or the dissemination of knowledge, the expressing of opinions, and freedom as well is a big one there too.
Yeah, and Gemini usually is not attached to any particular truth because it's so curious about the different perspectives. Gemini embraces all perspectives. So as you can see, and this is exactly what we're getting to, you see how this works? Releasing the dogmatic or that was the only way because that's the truth into, well, how about there's multiple truths possible? How about there's even other things we have never considered could be possible? You know, even astrology at this moment is being adopted by many more people, where before it was something kind of occult discarded. But there are many practices and different things that people are starting to adopt and go like, oh, this been around, but maybe there's a revamping also of the way we have seen spirituality or even religion or anything we believe in. Even if we're a non-believer in anything, we might start getting a perspective on believing in something, you know. It could be any of the above. And in this Gemini little thing, like we can see the aspects we have of the sun that's square to Jupiter that I just mentioned, literally goes into the Jupiter will, of course, like expand the sense of self, the sun, you know, your sense of self, and I'm finding these new things, but it could also so beware of getting into your ego too much, right? It's not because we have a newfound thing that it's because it's true for you that it has to be true for everybody else. Again, the guruism, right? It's like, because Jupiter can also be like the teacher, or, you know, this can bring about many different things with respect to our own identity. It's not a bad thing. It's just like it needs an adjustment, that this newness, this newfound sense of self needs adjustment as we adapt to our new sense of spiritual identity, I would dare say. And then we have Venus conjunct Mercury in Gemini. And these two guys, Venus and Mercury, could lend themselves for beauty, for ideas, for expressing words and journaling and, you know, communicating ideas. But also it's going to be in that square to Neptune. Can you show the square so people that don't know what a square is? A square is just a kind of a challenging aspect or something that needs adjustment, because it might be pushing in one side or to another side. Yeah, there you go. You see, it looks like it. Exactly. Thank you, Dulcie. So that square there creates that tension, a little bit of that tension between what could be ideal, Neptune, the solution, and the mind, our money, because Venus could be money related things, relationships, money, relationships, beauty, things. So we might be promised maybe something great and we buy into it. And then, boof, we're disillusioned. So this is a very good time, yes, to maybe write, get creative, journal, do your favorite new whatever dance practice. But be very grounded when it comes to very practical, pragmatic things like signing contracts, getting into a new house or into even a new relationship, like all of these themes might have a dose of too good to be true. So make sure that when you're dealing with things that need to be very pragmatic, this energy is so mutable that maybe something that's promised today will be gone tomorrow, right? That's mutable. Things are changing. Things are fast. Mercury is also fast, is quick, is, the mind can be going at, in 10 different directions right now with Mercury and Gemini. You might be talking here, there, or wanting to buy things or express or do 10 different social media, who knows. So make sure that all of this starts like grounding yourself. So my advice for this full moon, for this super amazing big full moon, full moon eclipse, is whatever you're doing, yes, connect to whatever comes through you as trust. So let the cruise ship cruise and chill in your little thing. 2, stay grounded. So bring the energy down into your feet, literally even visualize it coming into your feet, into the ground. So anything that comes to you, it's grounded also in a sense of reality. Yes, we're building new realities through new perspectives and new understandings of what it means to be a collective of connected, compassionate humans. But we also need to ground that in order not to completely, get like fly off the handle, if you know what I mean. At this moment, the mutable energy is like, yeah, literally you're being in this boat thingy, and the best way to take these energies is like that, is to align with the fact that we're looking within. Even that Mars there, like where's Mars?
In Cancer?
Yeah, that Mars in Cancer that has been, Cancer is also related to the moon. And guess what the moon's doing? It's being eclipsed. And that Mars in Cancer is looking also within, to the roots, to the feminine, to maybe things related to the home. A lot of people are right now, again, in lockdowns everywhere, kind of having to maybe looking for new places to live, or new places to express themselves, or finding a new relationship to their own identities, their own roots. And that Mars there is supporting, that Mars is trining that Neptune. So there is a support from Neptune, is supporting the action that you're taking when you look within, when you review things, when all these energies are going to give you something new to look at. And that Mars right now is not very forceful. It's not very outwardly directed. It's kind of, it's a slow Mars, it's like in the water Mars, like the water you're trying to hunt in the water. Is hunt for your inner higher truths, and you'll be like golden. That's what I would say. So Dulce, anything else about that, or anything else you want to mention from our current energies?
Yeah, so when we are looking at the moon, so we're talking about the eclipse moon. So this could, as we discussed, it could relate to new understandings of new belief systems, but also new sense of freedom potentially. So we know that the restrictions are at least temporarily starting to be kind of diminished. Fewer restrictions. People are being allowed to meet other people or have small gatherings outside. So we'll start kind of feeling that a little bit, experiencing that sense of freedom a little bit. But because of Neptune's influence in all of this, the guidance might be a little bit unclear. And Mercury is stationing to go retrograde soon after. So there might be some takebacks of some of this information, so which we are used to at this point, honestly. So, enjoy what you can for the time being, and we'll see where it goes from there. But yeah, the communication might be a little bit murky or unclear due to Neptune's influence, and we might have to backtrack a little bit because of Mercury's backtracking as well. With all of this going on in Gemini, there would be an increase of, communication, interactions, comings and goings. So we'll probably see that outside. More people are out and about doing what they need to do, socializing a little bit more. And people might become overly excited about these new opportunities and might be prone to taking more risks as well, because we've been cooped up so long. Yeah, and the last note I had was new forms of communicating with all of this in Gemini.
And Venus softens that too, right? Venus can also bring a kinder way of communicating with people.
Definitely.
More kindness, like,
more
kindness, more compassion, more
communicating to other people, new ways of disseminating knowledge to the masses potentially. But again, with Neptune, it might be murky or unclear or deceiving, and it might need to be altered a few times with Mercury changing. The last point that I had actually about the moon, since moon represents mothers and motherhood often, and it's in Sagittarius of laws, there might be some changes in the laws regarding motherhood. I think in the States, Biden was talking about, I don't know what it was, maternity leave or something in the States that they have been lacking. So that could be prominent at the time, or something to do with daycare, affordable daycare, something like that. I could see that happening.
Oh, I had also a comment on the Gemini stellium, because Gemini, of course, rules the mind, rules all of the interactions, but it also promotes more of the local interactions, local communities that can be brought together. So the emphasis might not be in long distance travels, like Sagittarius wants to go far away and take an airplane and fly. Right now, that's kind of hard. Let's say it's not what's easiest. It's not being supported, but what's being supported is like, well, how about you talk to your neighbor and find what they think about things? How about we create little, like, start looking at your neighbors again. Who are your neighbors? This is a beautiful time to do that too. It's like, who's my neighbor? Like, because we have been kind of pushed into this, like, coping and being by ourselves and on our own, but this also restricted of traveling far, well, forces us to see also who are the closest people or the people around us. So a good way to use this energy is also to get to know your neighbors, get to know the people in your local community, use those kind words, use that Venusian energy and that Mercury Venus to also, bring positivity into the interactions. So what kind of words can you say today? I actually have a little exercise. Oh, it's an exercise, a little thing that a friend of mine, I'm going to give a shout out to Jay Holman here publicly, who once sent me this little message on Messenger. He calls me, he's a friend of mine, and he says, Tatiana, I'm going to give you a word bath. I'm beginning. And he began, I appreciate you because of this. And he gave this whole word bath of positive things of how he saw me and appreciated me. I gotta tell you, my heart went like this. It's like, oh my gosh. And then he says, like, I don't remember if he said that, but like to pass it on forward, kind of. But in any case, I did pass it on forward to Dulcie.
No, it's to me.
I passed it on forward to Dulcie. I chose one person that I wanted to pass on. So the only thing I did was, again, leave a message with a word bath of all the appreciation. these are little things. Like, take this advice, little things that will, instead of reinforce all the negative talk that we've been having lately around all the, topics. I'm not gonna even go there with what topics. I think we all know what we're talking about. But all those topics that are just being so, exacerbated by Uranus, Saturn, Mars, like all of that's been going on this whole year. Restriction versus freedom, old versus new, the topic of 2020, 2021 that I shall not mention. So how about we incorporate new things like word baths of love and appreciation for somebody? If I told you right now, whoever you are, man, you're worthy of being here on earth. You are absolutely a fabulous human being. You have a beautiful light within you. Yes, you're here for something special. Everybody is special. And I tell you that, and then you feel your heart here, your heart. You go, and you say, wow, thank you. Maybe you changed my day from a horrible day to a beautiful day. And if you do that with one person, just do it to one. Give them a word bath today. Like, use that Venus, Mercury, give them a word bath. Maybe your neighbor. See if that can spread joy, happiness, lightness. Mercury and Gemini is light. It's light and fluffy. It's light and fluffy. And Jupiter brings compassion and love, and Jupiter in Pisces is like, how about we start this practice today? I would say that's something that I would leave you with in this video. If there's something to take from this moon, it's not all the information. Is what are you going to do with it? What are you going to choose? Remember, we're always choosing. Choose the way of compassion, love, caring, and then write in the comments below, what happens when you do that? What happens when you're kind to another human being and give them words of care and love, right?
Yeah.
You might be put.
Yeah. Please let us know how this eclipse affects you. If you're feeling any of this already, please feel free to mention so in the chat, and we'll be happy to engage in conversation about that.
Oh yeah, give us a word bath of loving words. And remember, if you have anything in Gemini, Sagittarius, or Pisces, these energies are going to be like speaking to you like big. So we want to hear your comments on how you've been navigating this. And speaking of spirituality, if you are interested in spiritual perspectives, I have another channel called Tatiana's Spiritual Toolbox, where I post guided meditations, things that, precisely to connect you with yourself. I give some talks as well. And I'll leave the link in the description below to that channel if you'd like to be interested in other perspectives and things, or even tools to connect to your own being, yourself, your higher, whatever, spiritual person, blah, 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 blah. So I think that's that. I'm done, Dulcie.
Yeah. And I do not have a website. Perhaps one day I will. I plan to one day, but we are not there at this point. But feel free to hang with us on Astrology Victoria on Facebook and
Instagram, Facebook, and Meetup.
Yeah, and we'll be happy to discuss anything astrology related there.
Yeah.
So
and we do have speakers every month that come and give amazing talks, and we will be having Mark Corsetti, a young astrologer, giving this Sunday a very interesting talk about animation, how things are animated, like in astrology, how it's archetypal animation. It seems to be so interesting and so spiritual and in nature. I don't know, it's going to be very exciting. So check it out. We're going to leave all the links below to where you can connect to us. In case you're new, then please share, like, subscribe. It helps us grow our channel and grow this information. If this is helping you, please give it to somebody that might need this information at this time.
Awesome.
Are we good?
We are good. Yes.
Okay. Happy, happy, happy eclipse on the 26th. May you be to the next level of evolution. Yeah. All right, I'm gone. Bye bye, Dulcie.
All right. Thanks so much, guys.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. As I'm leaving, I'm gone.
Okay. There we go.
All right.